Freestyle the news. I know what you say before you'll say it. The world burned the way they made it. You speak and you feel so anxious. I hate this, oh, I know. The lines you draw, you keep crossing. The algorithms you lost in, and who you consider losses. I'm exhausted. Check it, who's the villain in your story now? How many civilians can you kill before you take them out? All these fucking bigots on the campus wanna run their mouth, fucking up discussion while the people stuck in power wanna fumble and then fuck around. Everybody conscious is a hypocrite. You believe in God till you decide where the tuition's spent. You want the review until you see the food he didn't get. All about the boycott on that Netflix till it's, oh, what are the seasons next? Everybody lies when it feel good. Oh, now Amy's mad at bigotry. I see all these Kanye stans who came for him when he was banned are suddenly the biggest fans of Israel and lecture me on anti-Semitism like they don't know the difference between stop killing children and anti-Semitism. It's crazy. Ramaswamy sinking all the numbers up for Haley. The asshole out in front looking fraudulent with the same team. Polls are looking tight in Kentucky between the AG against the incumbent. Eric's fundraiser is under new investigation for corruption like a whole scheme. Don't quote Dr. King if you ain't really have the same dream. Pakistan be pushing out of Ghanis as the world bleeds. People who inspire you keep dying in the same week. Jesus, it's egregious. Like Mike looking fucking lost as a new speaker. Same shit. I know what you say before you say it. This game they all keep on playing. Emotion selective, like letting the murderer go as detective. It's fucking petty, y'all on 11. Wax about the horrors of war while pulling the trigger and upping the score. After the warnings you fucking ignored. Bad faith actors who try to change the script. Bullying reviewers all watching your fucking ratings slip. Evaporate that money in your bank, Sam. Almost like a shitty doc from Prager in an X ad. If I had $1 every view that was forced, it'd be Pacino fucking paying all his child support. Know what I mean? Oh, too soon. Oh, too soon. You're so fucking old now. It's like a 50-year age gap. Jesus. Godfather was great, but that's a little too much for me personally. I'm just saying. It's just a lot to deal with. Like I feel like it's kind of weird. When that baby's 20, you'll be 100. I mean, do you, but dog, the math is kind of, you know. Listen, we have a lot of heavy stuff to talk about today. But that being said, what you're about to see was not my idea. I don't want to hear shit about it in the comments. It was a joke. Don't. How'd you fucking know? It's black coffee too. How do you drink your coffee, you fuck? Hey, thank you guys so much for watching Freestyle the News, unless you made fun of my mug. If you like what you heard, please hit that like button so slick that it travels around the whole board and then finally hits the 8-ball into that corner pocket, and then shake my hand. Shake my hand. Shake my hand. There's a lot we got to talk about today. This was yet another exhausting week in a long litany of exhausting weeks. The stuff in the news cycle is very tough to take in, so I'm really happy you guys are here to talk with me. If you're brand new to the channel, hi, I wrap the news every week. But mostly, please, it is okay to take a little bit of time to disengage and work on your mental health. I know it's hard because you feel privileged, or you feel like, well, I'm not doing anything. Taking action also means taking care of yourself so you're able to take action. You have to fill your cup a little bit. This stuff is overwhelming, so I really just hope you and your family are safe and you're taking care of yourselves. So let's jump straight into this breakdown, and our first story is unfortunately still the Israel-Gaza crisis. And I'll just be very, very honest. This week has been, oh dude. So as it stands right now, over 1,400 Israelis have been killed and over 9,400 Palestinians have been killed. The overwhelming amount of casualties have been civilians. Obviously, the people who were the targets of that October 7th attack in Israel, and it was reported and confirmed that the IDF bombed a refugee camp in Palestine to try to kill a suspected Hamas person who was hiding there. And I'll repeat it again, I have been incredibly nuanced in this situation. I have not left out the fact that there have been anti-Semitic attacks that have risen. I have not left out the fact that Israeli citizens were killed by Hamas and that attack was terrorism. I have been ideologically consistent, and the ideologically consistent take is that's fucked up to bomb a refugee camp with children to kill 1 or 2 fucking people, and then to go on TV and to tell Wolf Blitzer that's just the horrors of war is fucking despicable. The US has been called both brave and complicit. Meanwhile, Biden is trying to kind of toe both sides while supporting Israel. But as of recently, the US is really trying to push Netanyahu to pause the hostilities to let people out of Gaza, while many other countries are also calling for a ceasefire. And Israel has said they do not want to pause any hostilities until the hostages are released. And it's becoming very, very hard to justify the collective punishment of innocent people for what happened. And I'll be very honest with you, the bombing of that camp is not a nuanced situation. Absolute fucking atrocity. And it's still impossible to talk about this because while we have very, very clear violations by Israel on Palestinians, rampant anti-Semitism is rising on campuses. It is everywhere. People are taking advantage of the situation to ramp up anti-Semitic attacks, anti-Semitic rhetoric, anti-Semitic rallies, not just people conflating Free Gaza with anti-Semitism. Even if you take that out, there are multiple instances of anti-Semitic people coming out of the woodwork to take advantage of this situation and to attack Jewish people and their families, including people who are against a lot of the things that Israel are doing. And that's not only anti-Semitism, Islamophobia has seen a huge uptick. And a big part of the story that everybody was talking about for a while was the celebrity response. One of the celebrity responses, though, that I do want to talk about is Amy Schumer's, because it is as tone deaf and myopic as you can get. She went on a tirade sending out random DMs to people like Asia Jackson, who is an actress who was talking about specifically civilians dying, conflating it with being okay with attacks on Amy's family. What the fuck? Amy also displaying the biggest amount of whataboutism in all of her talking points, which is the same thing this fucking idiot from the IDF said when they bombed a refugee camp. I don't have to tell, listen. And I'm not trying to trivialize this, but in every movie you have ever seen, when there's like a crazy general or a fucking crazy dude in a mask who fucking fights a guy in a bat costume, and he's like, hey, we gotta fucking kill all of these civilians to get one guy. They're usually the bad guy. And it's not because the movie makes them out to be the bad guy, it's because it's a fucking terrible idea. It makes no fucking sense. The proportionality of the attack doesn't make any sense. Like what? Like if the Joker is robbing a bank and you fucking fire a missile and kill everyone in the bank, that doesn't save any. You didn't do any. You killed more people. You made it worse. Did the IDF kill a bunch of civilians to get one of their targets without having any humanity for those civilians' livelihood or well-being? Yes. That's not denying the attack on October 7th. That's not denying that Hamas did horrible things or even caping for Hamas. That's just saying stop killing civilians to get 1 or 2 or 3 targets. That's not even siding with people who are saying, oh, break up Israel and destroy it. No, this is saying you are killing civilians disproportionately for your target. That is a fucking inhumane thing to do. And the fact that that has to be explained to anybody should be a giant fucking red flag. And I don't want to give shit to, honestly, I'm going to give shit. I really am all about free speech and comedy pushing boundaries and all of that thing. But Amy Schumer has the most like white feminist approach to everything, like Lena Dunham, in the way in which she cares about what is important to her, which, by the way, I absolutely sympathize with the fear that she has for her family. And as a Jewish citizen, I completely understand that it is a scary time to be a Jew in America. But that does not get solved by turning to Islamophobia or excusing the deaths of civilians and kids. And if you need proof, the war in fucking Iraq, did we win? No. How's Afghanistan doing? There are significant things that have been proposed to try to stop these kind of terrorist attacks on Israelis. One of them being Netanyahu heeding warnings instead of destroying democracy. I will also say this, guys, Guys, Benjamin Netanyahu, whose whole line is, we need to defend Israel, and we need to do this, we need to do all of these things, and civilians are dying, unfortunately, because we have to defend Israel, had a chance to defend Israel because he was warned about these attacks while he was trying to gut the judiciary. And I will tell you again, he ignored those warnings and it happened. In addition to all of this happening, there have been calls in Israel for his removal, for him to step down, and he isn't listening. He's just continuing the attack so he can look better. Fuck this guy. Fuck all the talking points. This is a crisis. It is not anti-Semitic to say ceasefire in Gaza. That doesn't mean let Hamas keep the hostages. That means ceasefire. Stop firing on Gazan civilians. The entire international world is watching. And if you feel hopeless in this moment, if you feel like, oh my God, there's nothing I can do, I do want to tell you this. This is the most visible a lot of these things have been. And it is overwhelming to see it on every platform, even the worst platform, X. But I have never seen, especially in the last 20 years of watching this culture war, the amount of people talking in the mainstream about the issues that people in Gaza are currently going through. I've seen people use it for content and you know, oh, we need clicks on our article. I've never seen genuine interest in the fact of what Gazans are going through. Not to this level and not to this much scrutiny of the IDF. To be honest, I blame Amy Schumer for her actions and going to this really dark place, but I don't blame her for her fear. It's mainly because, listen, nobody is immune to propaganda. We are all victims of it. I'm a victim of it. There are ways I lean politically because of growing up in post 9/11, and to act like I have no blind sides to, like, even when I first started talking about this, I was scared about not being informed enough because, again, I am Muslim and I do come from that world where, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm the enemy. I have a lot of fear in my heart for all of this stuff. So I really do advise you, listen, do not contribute to the anti-Semitism or the Islamophobia here. Amy is absolutely full of shit, but don't attack her on her religion or even her gender, which also people are doing. Bad faith actors like the ones committing these atrocities that you are so horrified by live by people going to the most hyperbolic extent because it helps them go, see, they're crazy, right? Don't you want to gangbang more? Anyway, I hope you all are safe, and I'm sorry that I know that was a lot of heavy stuff to go through. Okay, I got a couple more stories and then we're gonna wrap it up for today. So in other news today, that's also contentious, but a little bit less, is Keith Lee. Oh, dude, he makes me smile. Keith Lee, if you don't know, is a food reviewer on TikTok. He's well known for going to different restaurants and showcasing restaurants that don't really get a lot of attention or don't really have a lot of customers and blowing them up. He'll review their food. He'll be like, let's talk about it. All right, this is an 8.5 out of 10. This is crispy and juicy. It is a 9.8 out of 10. And Keith is always on point with his reviews. By the way, sometimes he'll stop the video and freeze it on a frame while he talks about some things and does a little bit of voiceover. And then he says, God bless you. Have a good day. And that's a huge reason for his 14 million following on TikTok. Now listen, Keith has recently been going on a food tour of Atlanta. And he's been finding some genuinely great finds in Atlanta and really deep diving into the cuisine there. So much so that he's found a couple places where he started the video like this.
I got it, let's try it, and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. I stayed in the car and my family went in and they told them they were closed early for deep cleaning. Yet the door is wide open and it's people still going in and grabbing their orders. Now we have no idea if those people ordered beforehand or what the case is. Also, the people who relayed this message, my family said were really nice. It's just the rules. And so far being in Atlanta, I found some places do have unique rules and this is one of them.
The big controversy comes from the Real Milk and Honey, which is a restaurant in Atlanta. When Keith finally went into the restaurant, they said, oh, it's Keith Lee. Oh, we'll seat you. However, Keith said, listen, I'm a normal person. I don't want any preferential treatment. Y'all have a good day. I'm all good. And this happened to a couple other restaurants as well. Now, this sparked a huge reaction on TikTok. People being like, oh shit, Keith calling out the Atlanta food scene? And a lot of people from Atlanta being like,
it's about fucking time.
But Keith also got some pushback from people who were talking about these restaurants. The Real Milk and Honey even posting a response being like, who is Keith Lee? Which they got a ton of backlash for. But they also happened to thank Keith for his critique. So I think it was all in good taste. And to his credit, Keith has been honest in every single review and said in his review, do not review bomb restaurants. Don't go and leave bad reviews on their Yelp page. That's not what he wants. He encourages people to try things out. And I think that's a very, very reasonable thing to do. And the reason I'm mentioning this in a major story for an FSTN is because yesterday he got a response from OCHOCINCO, who went on the Shannon Sharp podcast to say that he doesn't like what Keith Lee is doing and that Keith Lee is actually hurting black businesses in Atlanta by reviewing them, negatively specifically. He's like, why don't you only post positive reviews of restaurants? And Keith responded today in the most Keith Lee way possible.
First, I want to say God bless you and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion. But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free. To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me.
Now that response was received really, really well. Again, Keith Lee is always a classy guy, being very respectful and at the same time being like, don't speak on my fucking name. But also saying, hey, you're entitled to your opinion, but you don't know about me or what I do. And as is with the internet, OCHOCINCO responded, oh shit, positively. That's right, in a rare show of good things happening. Ocho responded on Twitter, and it took me fucking forever to find this tweet. You need to listen to Keith Lee's response, my boy. I saw it, and it was an eloquent display of what qualifies him to do what he does. Thoroughly enjoyed the overall delivery and the constant blessings and exposure he has bestowed on small businesses in such a short amount of time. Look, I mean, athletes say a lot of sus shit sometimes, but this is genuinely in good faith trying to bury the hatchet and taking your L. And also, his daughter kind of came after him and was like, hey, we're Team Keith Lee. And he's like, okay. But anyway, Keith is moving on from his food tour. There's a lot of really great Atlanta restaurants he highlighted. If you are a fan of food, I really suggest you go follow him on TikTok and find a good place to eat. Anyway, already an insanely long episode. I really, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, please prioritize your mental health. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're okay. This isn't gonna get easier, but your voice gets stronger if you're rested and you can have the strength to fight. So really, please take care of your mental health. My name is Tabani. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go.